LeBron James and Michael Jordan, a classic GOAT debate. For all of the rings and the stats, there's not much to separate the two greats of basketball. In today's video, we won't be looking at the stats, but instead take a different approach to the GOAT debate. Instead of focusing on the stats or rings, I'll be focusing on how they influenced America. To understand the NBA's peak, you have to understand the context of the 1990s. America was obsessed with the individual superstar. Jordan wasn't just a basketball player, he was a global icon. His influence on America was primarily aesthetic and competitive. He taught a generation that winning was the only metric that mattered. 6 finals appearances, 6 rings, 6 MVPs. Jordan's cause was a relentless, almost pathological brand expansion. The effect? He turned the NBA into a multi-billion-dollar global powerhouse and created a modern sneaker economy. He was the pinnacle of a superhuman athlete, untouchable, mythical, and silent on the world's problems. He set the gold standard for what an athlete could achieve, but you have to hold for what an athlete could be. To truly understand the impact of LeBron James on America, we have to travel back across the arc of American history. For centuries dating back to the founding of the nation in the late 18th century, sports in America were viewed merely as entertainment, a distraction from serious matters such as politics and economics or social struggle. For a long time, the unwritten rule for American athletes was clear: to entertain and stay quiet. When LeBron James entered the NBA in 2003, he stepped into a cultural landscape shaped by the decades before him, but his approach to this world was forged long before he ever picked up a basketball. Growing up in Akron, Ohio, raised by a single teenage mother, LeBron experienced firsthand the crushing weight of financial instability. Moving from apartment to apartment and missing school, he lacked a stable environment. This upbringing deeply rooted in his values in the community, survival, and mutual support. He didn't see success as an individual escape, but rather as a responsibility to lift others out of the exact circumstances he survived. Over his nearly 2-decade career leading up to 2020, he used these core values to fundamentally alter how sports superstars influence American society, politics, and economics. The economic cause stems directly from LeBron's childhood and systematic failures of a public education system for low-income families. Growing up, LeBron missed 83 days of school in the 4th grade alone. This was due to a lack of stable housing and transportation. He realized that a child's academic failure wasn't due to a lack of talent, but a lack of resources. Seeing that urban public schools in Akron, Ohio, were still trapping generations of low-income children in the same cycle of poverty that he barely escaped, LeBron felt compelled to do something. He recognized that traditional charity wasn't fixing the structural roots of the issue, which caused him to build a completely new model for the community of schooling. Economically, LeBron redefined charity, tying it directly back to his childhood values. In 2018, his foundation opened the I Promise School in Akron, Ohio. Traditional athlete charity often stopped at donating money or hosting basketball camps. LeBron created an economic intervention, building the exact safety net he lacked as a kid. The school provides free tuition, free meals, uniforms, bicycles, job placement services for parents, and guaranteed college tuition for graduates. By investing heavily in the human capital of an underserved community, LeBron created a blueprint for how private athletic wealth can structurally combat generational poverty. The political cause was a political crisis. In 2020, amidst the global pandemic and a massive racial reckoning following the murder of George Floyd, systematic voter suppression became glaringly obvious. During the 2020 primary elections, thousands of polling places in predominantly black and minority neighborhoods were shut down under the guise of pandemic safety, leading to hour-long lines and mass disfranchisement. Witnessing a direct attempt to silence the political voice of Black America, LeBron realized the standard athletic commentary wasn't enough. The structural corruption of the voting process required a structural defense, causing him to form the More Than a Vote campaign, which aimed to aggressively protect the ballot box. Politically, LeBron leveraged his massive following to fight systematic voter suppression. By establishing the More Than a Vote campaign, he mobilized athletes and artists to convert massive sports arenas into safe, socially distanced voting centers in major cities. The campaign successfully recruited over 40,000 poll workers to keep urban voting stations open and actively combated disinformation targeting black voters. He directly influenced voter turnout during one of the most critical elections in modern history and established the modern athlete as a legitimate political mobilizer. In the 1980s and 1990s, Michael Jordan became a global phenomenon. His brand of influence was immense, but is strictly defined by the parameters of his era. Jordan's philosophy was built on neutrality and universal marketability, famously encapsulated by the quote, "Republicans can buy sneakers too." His power came from endorsing products for massive corporations like Nike and Gatorade, creating a blueprint where the athlete was a polished corporate vessel. Jordan achieved mythical status by keeping the messy reality of American issues out of his basketball paradise. He proved that an athlete could conquer the economic world by remaining silent on everything else. LeBron James took that corporate blueprint and completely rewrote it. Where Jordan chose neutrality to protect his brand, LeBron chose vocal advocacy, recognizing that true power lies in authentic ownership. He did not just endorse brands, he demanded equity and built his own companies. More importantly, LeBron dismantled the wall between sports arenas and American social reality. Guided by the empathy of his own childhood struggles, LeBron realized that his platform wasn't a fragile commodity to be sheltered, but an active weapon to fight systematic inequality. While Jordan used his massive influence to build a sneaker empire, LeBron used his empire as a megaphone for the marginalized, proving that a modern superstar could be both globally commercial and political. In the present day, when a social or political crisis hits America, the public no longer wonders if athletes will speak out. They demand to know what they will say. The paradigm has shifted so dramatically that corporate neutrality is often viewed as a liability, while authentic social responsibility is seen as standard practice. We see this in the WNBA, where players collectively organize for electoral candidates and criminal justice reform. We see this across professional sports, where young stars enter the league not just looking for shoe deals, but demanding their own production companies, venture funds, and foundations built to attack structural problems, exactly like the I Promise model. When a prominent political commentator famously told LeBron to shut up and dribble in 2018, it didn't silence him, it backfired entirely, becoming a permanent historical turning point. It solidified a reality where the modern athlete refused to be silenced. Looking back from the founding of American sports culture in 1770 all the way to our modern era, the evolution is staggering. Sports transformed from a passive pastime designed to distract into a powerful front line for American social, economic, and political change. LeBron James provided a blueprint. He proved that an athlete's ultimate legacy isn't just measured by championships or commercial appeal, but how they effectively use their power to reshape the nation for generations to come.